Hi everyone, happy Friday. Ashley here. So this topic in this video is pretty interesting for me for a few reasons. So am in the elementary setting, and sometimes when you think, I would imagine when you think about college and career readiness at an elementary setting, what does that look like? I don't have a lot of background knowledge on this because in my career in at the elementary level, I've mostly been a traveling teacher, so I've gone from campus to campus. I've never been based or housed or home. I've never had a home campus. So I'm not really familiar with the steps that guidance counselors or teachers take in order to promote career and college readiness. And that being said, so I did some reading, obviously, in the textbook, and then I started to just research on my own within AISD. Okay, what do they do in Austin ISD for career and college readiness? And I came across the page for it, and it was they provided curriculum for 6 through 12 for career and college readiness, but when it comes to K through 5 there, or pre-K through 5, there was nothing. There was no information. And I was a little shocked and I was just perplexed. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So my first thought was, why not? Why isn't there a curriculum A? And what could I do to maybe implement or create or find some sort of curriculum? So then I started doing a little bit of research on my own and found a few articles that started to discuss career and college readiness at the elementary level. And one article I came across gave some guidelines from the National Office for School Counselor Advocacy. So I'm going to be reading a little bit from some notes that I wrote down. Was talking of, they have created components for career and college readiness for K through 12, and there were some that were specifically for elementary school, and they expressed that there's a need to encourage early awareness in this capacity for knowledge and skills that lay the foundation for being academically successful, and social skills development. Those are the areas of need at the elementary level. And then the National Career Development Association guidelines at the elementary level are self-knowledge, educational and occupational exploration, and career planning. And now, obviously, I think a lot of us are teachers or have been in education, so a lot of this is kind of scaffolding on. So I wouldn't teach necessarily go in and teach a pre-K classroom or a kinder classroom career planning. I would probably teach a little bit more self-knowledge. But going back to that, so that's what I found online. And then I started thinking, well, all right, so what are things that I would do, because there is no curriculum as a counselor at my school. And there were about 4 areas that five areas that a few areas that I thought of, things that I thought I would want to do. I think one of the first things I would want to do is to, discuss with the teachers based on those guidelines that I read. I also found there were examples. So kindergarten students will be able to describe what they like to do. First grade students will be able to identify workers in various settings, second grade students, and so on and so forth. So I figured one of the first things that I would like to do would probably be to work with those teachers to see how, because at the elementary school, a little bit backtrack, at the elementary school level, it's not so much individual career counseling and college readiness. It's more like classroom guidance. You teach a lesson within the classroom, and then the classroom teacher enriches that through whichever ways are deemed appropriate or necessary. So I think I would want to work with a grade level teachers in order to facilitate or create some sort of a curriculum where I could go in and teach. So that's 1 and 2, create the curriculum with the teachers. And the second part of it would be to go in and do classroom guidance lessons on various activities based for various grade levels. The book was talking about how students at the elementary grade level, ages 0 to 11, are in like the fantasy stage of career and college readiness, which means, you know, they're it's like everything is excited for them, and they're learning through role play, they're learning through books, they're learning through trying things out themselves and imagining themselves in that setting of what that would look like. And one of the activities was to reflect on your counselor at an elementary school, and what were things that you went home and told your mom you wanted to be. And I just remember thinking, well, I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to be, I don't quite remember the third one, but I reflect on that and I'm like, wow, I wanted to be a lawyer. I am like the least confrontational person. Not least confrontational, but I think there was a long time where I would avoid confrontation like no other, and I could never imagine myself in it. But it was fun. It was fun to imagine myself in that sense when I was a little kid. I just remember thinking that's what I wanted to do. So I would go in and obviously teach those lessons based on different grade levels and the need and the guidelines that were there per grade level. And through books and activities, and even I was, you know, bringing in parents, and they can come and talk about their careers or career day, and just implementing activities within the school and the grade levels to do that. So the second stage, or the third thing that I would want to do is a lot of guidance, which I'm sure is already done, and I know is already done, on social emotional learning. I think when elementary school is all about learning, not all about, but a lot about learning how to function in society and kind of outside your family, right? So it's social skills, learning to raise my hand when I want something, or ask for help when I don't know what to do. And so I think it would be really important to also implement those kind of classroom instruction or guidance instructions per grade level, obviously depending on scaffolding, like I said, on the need and what those kids need developmentally in that capacity. And then from there, and I think this is where I would really get into the data. I know how to get into data because it's what I've done, but I would want to target small groups that were focusing on like social skills and coping skills, and maybe, I don't know, just test anxiety, more socially emotional curriculum. I know in my district we use Second Step. We use a lot of TBRI, which is trust-based relational interventions, because we all know that when behaviors arise, right, when we're in our downstairs brain, we're in that fight or flight mode. We don't have access to our prefrontal cortex, so we're not absorbing any of the academic information that is, or not even just academic, but information that is coming to us to be able to be successful in the academic setting. So behaviors provide isn't the best word, create a huge barrier to that absorption. So I think targeting those students who have a high need in that sense would be another area of focus that I would really want to work on. And then the last thing, that it wasn't so much for career and college readiness, but I think that there was a part in the book that talked about transitioning elementary school students, fifth graders, to middle school. And I thought that was really powerful, because I remember being in fifth grade and it was going to middle school, and the amount of workload that was required, and going to different classes and having different teachers was so intimidating and so scary. And so the book talked about, you know, maybe having middle schoolers, like a sixth grade class, come in to talk to the fifth graders and give them suggestions on like study tips and and strategies that they could use. And then there was also a point where they would go out and the fifth graders would go to the or to the middle school students to get a tour of it. I think that could be really powerful too, because like I said, when it comes to fear, anxiety, stress, all those things are in our downstairs brain, and we're not using that like that cognitive thinking with it. And so if they start middle school in that sense, what are they missing academically that's going to lay that foundation for their future success as they continue to grow through middle school and high school and into post-secondary school, if that's what they choose to do. So those are the things that those are the ideas or the things that I have for this. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week/weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.